Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to do another Shop My Stash, just using some older products and not using anything new. I've got quite a collection growing and I just feel like I need to start using some of my older products before they expire. Today I was feeling a little bit of a sunflower vibe, so that's the look I tried to achieve. Before we get started, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button. It would mean so much to me, and we'll get going. For primer today, we're gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I actually haven't used this in quite a while, so I'm happy to pull it back out. I love the way it gives a nice glow, and I know there are multiple ways to use this, but I have always liked it as a full face primer. And then just with whatever foundation brush I'm gonna use, I use to blend in the Hollywood Flawless Filter. And now I feel extremely glowy, especially with the bright ring light. So we're gonna go straight into foundation. I'm gonna use my Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation, mostly because I didn't realize how much tanned I had gotten from being at the ranch and going to the river. So this is one of the closest shade matches for me, which for the winter time, or even earlier this spring, even a month ago, the shade was too deep for me, but now it's the closest one I've got. And going on the same brush, I didn't clean it off from the Hollywood Flawless Filter, so it'll just make it a bit more glowy instead of so matte. Now I'm going to go in with my damp sponge and just press out all of the brush lines. But holy cow, I feel super glowy. I might have put a little too much of that Flawless Filter on. But I mean, the foundation's looking really good. Matches my neck and my shoulders a bit better than some of my other foundations. For concealer, I'm going to use my Jouer Essential. I know I use this one a lot. It's not new by any means, but it is my favorite concealer, so I'm just going to use it again. And if you're new to my channel, I do my concealer and setting powder a little bit differently. I do one eye at a time. So I put my concealer on, blend it out with a brush, and then I will set it before I do the other eye. And I'm just going to be using my Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. I do also like to put a little bit of concealer on my nose, just with being sunburnt. The foundation doesn't tend to cover the fullness of my red nose. So I do like to put a little bit of concealer on my nose now, and I just do the same steps. Same brush to blend it out a little bit, and then I do set it with the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. Something I have been doing before I set the rest of my face is I've actually been putting on my eye primer. So this is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. It's the original one. And I do this because when I set the rest of my face, I tend to get it on my eye, and then when I go and put this on afterwards, it looks bad. So I just do this before I set the rest of my face. Now I'm going to set the rest of my face. I have been loving my Kosas Cloud Set Powder. Again, it's not new, but I've been using it quite frequently because it's just my favorite powder to set my face. So this is what we're gonna do. Now I did go ahead and set my face just because I know some of my older products are powder and I don't quite feel like using cream products today. So that's why I went ahead and did that. For bronzer, I'm gonna go into my Jouer Duo. This is the Sunset or Sunkissed bronzer duo. It's in medium. Looks like this. And I typically go into the lighter shade, so that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm just going to start by warming up the cheeks. A little bit on the forehead. And I do go under the jaw a bit. Gosh, I forgot how nice this bronzer was. It's just blending out like a dream. And it wasn't that long ago that I tested it out. I wonder why I forgot about it so quickly. I did go ahead and add just a little bit on my nose with my brush. Nothing fancy. I don't do a full contour on my nose, but it just helps to keep everything cohesive. So now I'm going to go around all the edges with my damp sponge and make sure everything is blended. So for my eye look, I actually have a pretty kind of sunsour vibe feeling today to do with my eyes. So I'm going to pull out one of my Patrick Ta blushes. It's one of the cream and powder duos in the shade She's So LA, which is like super bronzy type blush. I really haven't used it in a long time, and I just feel like it'll look really nice with the eyes. And I just kind of go in circular motions and start like on the outermost part of my eye, but like on my cheek, and then blend it back towards my temples. And I do like a little bit of blush up on my forehead, and a little across my nose, and a little under my chin. Nothing too intense in those places, but just enough to like, again, make everything cohesive. And then we'll go back in with my sponge, make sure everything's blended. For highlight lately, I have been reaching for my Nabla Skin Glazing highlight in the shade Ozone, like religiously. I've been loving it so much, but figured we're doing some older products. I'm gonna go into my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow highlight. It's still very natural, similar to my Nabla highlight, just not so intense. And we're just gonna place that on the high points of the cheek. And even just putting it on with the brush, like I don't feel like I need to blend it out because it's just a really natural highlight. But in that ring light, it looks really blinding, doesn't it? Holy cow. It doesn't look like that in my mirror. Because I am me though, I am still gonna go over it. And that ring light is making it look insanely bright, and it's not that bright. Now, before we get into the eyes, I am going to do my brows first, so please enjoy the brow intermission. I totally forgot to tell you what brow product I was using. Nothing new, I just went in with my Kosas Air Brow. I've really been enjoying this. It's a lot faster than my Benefit Gimme Brow. I still love that one. This one's just a lot faster, and fast eyebrows is totally up my alley. Now, I did already prime my eyelids, and that is because of the powder situation of setting my face. But today I'm feeling a more like sunflower vibe. I hope that's what I said earlier. Now that I think about it, I don't remember if I said sunset or sunflower. I meant sunflower. So I picked the palettes Rust from Melt Cosmetics, which is this beautiful brownie, kind of yellowy vibe. Perfect for sunflowers. And then I also picked my Adeline Morin and Tarte palette, which also has a nice yellow shimmer and some kind of orangey browns in it. I don't know if anybody has the Adeline Morin and Tarte palette, but it smells really good. So what I'm kind of thinking is to have like a more brownish lid and then kind of blend it out with some yellows and have a nice yellow pop of an inner corner. So I think to begin, I'm gonna go in with this shade, which is called Rust. I am just going to start by packing that color on the lid from the outer corner to the inner corner. And I'm trying to take it, because I have hooded eyes, my lid, you can kind of see where my lid kind of flops over. That's as far as I'm taking it. Like I really only want it on my actual lid space. Now if you don't have hooded eyes, it might be a little bit different for you. Something like this. And it doesn't have to be pretty. Next I'm gonna go into a smaller blending brush, and I'm just gonna use this color from my Adeline Morin palette. It's called Boss Lady, and it's more of this orangish brown. And what I'm gonna do is buff out the rust color with this color. So really, I'm just taking this color all around the edges to blend out that rust color. But then, when my eyes are open, it's that brownish orange color is the first thing you're gonna see when you look at me, just because of my eyes, which is what I was going for. I haven't used my Adeline Morin palette very much. Like when I first got it, I tried to mess with the yellows a little bit, but that was about it. And really, it sits in my bathroom to use the mirror to see the back of my head. I don't know, does anybody else have a palette that sits in their bathroom so when they do their hair they can turn around and have another mirror to see how the back of your head looks? Is that just me? But I really haven't played with it other than when I first got it, and I didn't realize how pigmented these colors are. Next, I'm going to take this yellow shade from the Melt palette. It's called Erode. And I'm going to go on a bigger, fluffier blending brush, and we're going to blend out the orange color with Erode. And it's kind of like, where it is on the eye is like the transition area. so you can take it up as high as you want. To my surprise, every time I add another color, I'm liking this look even more. I do feel the sunflower vibes. I'm happy with it, but I also feel like Thanksgiving turkey vibes here. In case you were wondering. I'm gonna go back in with the rust color and we're gonna do the lower lash line. And I kind of picked like a flat brush, but it's not super flat, so I am going to pinch it to try to get it a little bit smaller. And I want this color to be as close to the lash line as I can get. Next, we're gonna go back into the orange Boss Lady, and we're gonna do the same thing. Pinch the brush and just blend out the brown. Last but not least, we're gonna go in with the yellow, the Erode shade. And we're just going to blend out all of those colors. And make sure to connect the yellows on the outer corners. And then for the inner corner, I do want something a little bit brighter, so I'm gonna go into the Adeline Morin palette, and we're gonna go in with this a bit brighter yellow than the Erode shade, and it's called Girls Supporting Girls. And I'm just taking that color on a little pencil brush, and we're gonna pop that right in the corner and connect it to the lower lash line and the inner corner upper part here. Now, the Melt palette has this really pretty shimmery brown. It's called Red Ox, and I don't know if I should put it on my lids or not. Should I keep the matte look? No, we're gonna go in with some sparkle. So this is a pretty deep brown, which is why I'm okay with using it. But I'm just gonna use my fingers like I normally do. This one's a little chunky, so tap off what you think you need to tap off, and I'm just gonna place it right over the rust color. I don't want to go any higher than that, just to add a little pop. And if you feel like you got too much, just go back into your colors and re-blend. There was a little bit of fallout with that color, so I'm just taking the brush that I set my face with to try to sweep it away. But here are our sunflower eyes. I actually really like it. It's a little different for me, but sunflowery vibes. Okay, I'm gonna put on mascara and then we'll come back to finish up the look. Once again, I forgot to tell you what product I was using while I was doing it. So I used my Bite Beauty Upswing mascara, which when I first tried it, I didn't like it very much because it was extremely messy, but it was a really wet formula. And with how large the brush is, my eyes just turned into raccoons just trying to get the stuff on. But now that it's dried out a little bit, I really like how it worked today. Okay, so for lips, I'm kind of looking at two different glosses. I've got the Tower 28 in the shade Cashew. I haven't used this in quite a while. And then I've got the Fenty Beauty Creme in the shade Cookie Jar, which both of them look pretty good for this look. I think I'm leaning towards the Tower 28 one. And I think for a lip liner, I'm going to use this ColourPop Lippy Pencil. This is in the shade Beeper. Okay, so that's a lot more mauve than brown, and I really want a brown one. We're gonna try a different one, still ColourPop, but this is in the shade CTRL, Control. Okay, I just blended that out a little bit with my finger, like I do most lip liners, and now we're gonna go in with the Tower 28 Lip Jelly. And again, this is the shade Cashew. And last but not least, I am going to go in with a setting spray. This is from Maven Beauty. It's their Rose Water. Here is our finished look. I have to say, I really like it. I think it was fun. Sometimes you get in the habit of routines and stuff, and sometimes makeup's not fun. But today, I really did have a good time. It's also really nice to start using some of the older products. It's one of my things is that I'm always scared when I purchase new makeup, I'm never gonna finish the old makeup and then it's gonna expire, and that like defeats the purpose of buying makeup, right? Because you don't use it fast enough. I think it's always fun to do a little bit of a shop my stash and use some old makeup. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look. You'll have to let me know if it was the right decision to put a little shimmer on or if I should have left it matte. I'd also love to know what are some of your favorite older products that you should reach for but you just don't, and if you're gonna do a shop my stash with those. Other than that, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. It just lets me know what you guys are really enjoying and helps me out a bit. I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.